SRTR provides reports, tools, and reference materials on srtr.org to assist programs in reviewing their performance metrics. SRTR reimagined their website to be a place where patients and their families could easily find and compare transplant programs. SRTR worked with patients, programs, and clinicians to determine the information that patients want to see, but which is most relevant to them and their specific needs. SRTR attempts to provide at-a-glance assessments using what had been determined to be the most useful information for patients. Here, the kidney, heart, and liver programs are sorted first by getting a deceased donor transplant faster, then 1-year survival, and finally by number of transplants in a year. For lung programs, the 1-year survival column is the primary sort criteria, and for all other organs, the deceased donor transplants in a year is the primary sort criteria. Clicking on one of these other column headers will force the list to resort by that criteria. For example, here the list is sorted by getting a transplant faster, which is the transplant rate, but if you click on deceased donor transplants in a year, the list sorts the highest volume programs to the top. There is information included on the website that explains the statistics you are seeing here in greater detail. The bold, light blue words on the web page are typically links. Click here to learn more about the sorting criteria and what it means. Click this link to learn more about the methodology behind the assessment metrics. You can also find this information, as well as information specific to the 5 tiers, in the drop-down menu under About the Data in the navigation bar. The program-specific reports are provided for transplant centers to monitor their program performance. They are developed utilizing data collected by the OPTN through tie-dye forms, as well as from additional sources such as Social Security Death Master File. New PSR reports are posted every 6 months. Transplant programs can find their program-specific reports on the SRTR public website by clicking on the Program-Specific Reports button here on the page, or by going to Reports and Tools on the navigation bar and selecting Program-Specific Reports from the drop-down menu. The National Center Level Summary Datasheet is a Microsoft Excel workbook that contains all the data presented in the program-specific reports. Here, data on all centers in the U.S. are reported in one worksheet, so program data can easily be compared across all centers in the nation. There are multiple sheets in the workbook containing data. Scroll through all the tabs at the bottom to see all the data. The tab name refers to the table or figure in the PSR. For instance, if you wanted to compare your 1-year graft estimated and expected survival in the deceased donor cohort to other programs in the United States, you would note that information is on table C6D. Then you would find the tab that is titled Tables C5 through C10, figures C1 through C12D, and find the columns with the data you wish to compare. You can manipulate these spreadsheets however you like, custom sort, delete rows or columns to narrow it down to what you want to see. To find the National Center Level Summary Data Sheets, go to the SRTR public website homepage and click on the Program-Specific Reports button here on the page. On the next page, at the bottom, you will see the header, National Center Level Summary Data by Organ. Select the organ you wish to review from the drop-down, and a link to download the spreadsheet will appear to the right of the drop-down. Click on that link to download the spreadsheet. Risk adjustment models are the algorithm by which SRTR determines the risk of patients at each program. They are updated every 6 months and published on the public website for reference. You can find risk adjustments for post-transplant, waitlist, organ offer acceptance, and organ yield on www.srtr.org. You can find the risk adjustment model documentation by selecting the model you wish to review under Reports and Tools on the navigation bar. On the documentation page, you would select the organ and other specifics of the cohort you wish to review. Then the system would pull up all the data you need here within these tabs to determine the relative risk of each of your patients in that cohort. Under the Model Elements tab, you can find the sources for the elements, which are also called variables. The elements labeled Candidate come from the OPTN tie-dye TCR. The elements labeled Donor come from the OPTN DonorNet DDR, and the elements labeled Recipient come from the OPTN TRR. Under the Model Coefficients tab, you will find the coefficients assigned to each element by the SRTR modeling process. On the Model Element Plots tab, we show the graphical representation of the risk adjustment of an element. The Other Elements tab shows which elements are included in the model, but not included in the Model Coefficients tab because they had no predictive values. The Additional Info tab shows more information on how certain variables were calculated or determined, such as eGFR. You can find the diagnosis groupings in this tab at the bottom. There are additional resources on the SRTR public website that can help professionals at transplant programs understand the information in SRTR reports. You can find the specific methodology behind the statistics SRTR reports in our methodology documentation, which can be found on the public website under About the Data on the navigation bar. Select Analytic Methods from the drop-down menu. SRTR provides answers to common questions in our FAQs section. If you have any questions about anything SRTR reports, check here first to find straightforward explanations. By routinely checking these tools and resources, programs can monitor their current performance trends. For more specific information on how to use these tools and resources, contact an SRTR representative at srtr@srtr.org.